Welcome back. I'm Ted Thomas, and in this episode, I'm going to cover how to buy tax lien certificates in North Carolina. I'm also going to give you some inside tips on how to make money. And before I finish, if you'll stay tuned, I'm going to show you some big mistakes to avoid at the auction. So stay tuned, and I'll come right back. How to buy tax lien certificates in North Carolina. Well, folks, I'm going to tell you right now, they don't sell tax lien certificates in North Carolina. So let me explain exactly what they do. So here's some facts, things you'll be interested in. North Carolina has 100 counties, and they do tax deeds. That means there's going to be 100 tax defaulted auctions just in that one state. Now, the largest counties are Mecklenburg, you guys probably already know that, and Wake County, so they'll have quite a few. Now, the smaller counties will still have tax deeds, meaning they're going to sell the property without a mortgage. They'll still have those, but the auctions won't be big. They might have only 16 properties or 25, something like that. A place like Mecklenburg, don't be surprised if there's 150, 200 properties coming up from auction. All right, now, all the counties in the United States are authorized to sell tax defaulted properties, all right? All the counties are authorized to sell the deed to the property to you without a mortgage. So keep in mind, when you're in North Carolina, you're not going to buy a tax lien certificate, you're going to buy a property. And let me go through that process with you, okay? All right, now why are the counties selling these tax defaulted property or whatever, okay? So this particular lesson is all about how to buy tax liens in North Carolina, but there are none of those. So what the county's going to do is they're going to go out and confiscate the defaulting property owner. So that defaulting owner is going to lose their property as a result of not paying taxes. So how do they lose it? Well, the county sends them a default notice. That's called public notice, okay? And they will give them public notice many times, and then they will go out with the sheriff and give them an actual notice of eviction, and they'll kick them out of the property. So it's not a very comfortable situation, but they move the people out. Now, why does the county do that? Because the county needs money. Now, what does the county need money for? Well, someone's got to pay for the schools. Someone's got to pay the police department. Someone has to pay the fire department. You're getting the idea. The county has a lot of employees. They have to pay all those people. All right, so in order to pay them, they need property tax. But someone in North Carolina didn't pay, and when they don't pay, the local government is going to seize that property. They're going to confiscate it, and then they're going to resell it. So this works in every county. Sounds a little bit difficult, but that's the way it is. If you don't pay your taxes, you're going to lose your property. So now when that property owner defaults and they don't pay a property tax, now there's some big problems for the county. So they're going to take care of that, and when they do, they'll wipe out any mortgage on the property. So a lender, like the Bank of America or Wells Fargo, whoever that is, a lender now has a big challenge on their hand because the county will wipe the mortgage out regarding the property. Now, that doesn't mean they could tear the mortgage up. They're not going to do that. Whoever signed that promissory note, which is what a mortgage is, whoever signed that, still going to owe that money. All right, now in North Carolina, in some cases they use mortgage, but most time they're using what's called a deed of trust, very similar to the deed of trust they would use in California, Oregon, or Washington State. So a deed of trust is the same thing as a mortgage, just different terms. They're always a promissory note. So that promissory note was signed by someone, but they're going to wipe it out regarding the property. Now what we're doing is we're teaching you to buy these properties at rock bottom dollar. Now what's rock bottom dollar? Well, it's going to be about 20 or 30 cents on the dollar. Why? Because the government seized the property, so there's back taxes and some bills, so that's where the bidding is going to start. Now you know you'd like to buy property, real estate property, without a mortgage at about 20 cents on the dollar. So no tax lien certificates to talk about in the state of North Carolina. Now if the property doesn't sell at the auction, now the county has an even bigger problem. So what are they going to do with the properties that don't sell? They're going to put them on what's going to be called a surplus lands list. Now I'm going to give you lessons on that later, but write that one down, surplus lands list. For example, in Illinois and Chicago, they call it a scavenger list. In South Carolina, right next door, they call it a forfeited lands commission list. So they could have any name that they want for it. And there's different names, and you'll hear me make reference to those as I go along. But they didn't sell at the first auction, so now it's on that list. You can actually go, nobody else is there, you can go and say you'll buy it for the minimum price on that list. I'm giving you two ways to buy. One at the auction, and now you can go buy it off the list. That means nobody bought it at the auction. All right, there's also some unique bidding process in North Carolina. So be careful with what you're hearing now. So I'm going to be as clear as I possibly can. When they have the auction, generally speaking, when you buy a tax defaulted property, you get possession. In North Carolina, you do not get possession. So let me say that again. When you buy and you win, you do not get possession. The county holds onto the property for a number of months, and they will allow other people to come in and outbid you. In other words, if you bid 10,000, someone could go in and bid 10,100, then they'll wait a month or two more and see if someone else will come in, and then they'll, whatever. The point is, you don't get possession until it goes through that process. Now, do I know every bit of that process and try to give it to you now? No, it's impossible because we'll run out of time. Just understand you will not get possession in North Carolina.
Ted, when I'm bidding on tax deed properties, is there a rule of thumb?
A rule of thumb for buying at tax auctions is buy low, sell low. Now, it's a constant mantra that I have, and I teach that on all my classes. So I say buy it low and sell it low. So let's talk about that just for a minute. So I want to buy it as low as possible. So they're going to start the bidding low. So they're going to start the bidding at 10, 20, or 30 cents. So buy it as close to that as possible. Don't bid up and pay 80 or 90 cents of the value, because how are you going to sell it and make any money? You want to buy it low, and then you want to sell it low. Now, who are you going to sell it to? How about all those fixer-upper guys they're talking about on late night television? They all want to go fix it up. You've seen those shows. Pretty Girl, she's there talking about all these guys are running in and out with big hammers and saws and making noise. And pretty quick, the place looks like it's a palace, right? But they don't tell you how much all that costs. So I don't do any of that work. I'm going to teach you buy it low, sell it low, go on to the next deal. Why? Because this is a business of abundance. There's always going to be too many properties. They're never going to be able to sell them all. There's going to be 2 to 3 million tax defaulted auctions every year. Now, I've been doing this for 30 years, teaching it for 25. Nice deal.
Ted, how come my broker hasn't told me about this, or my banker hasn't told me about tax liens and tax defaulted properties?
Okay, so if you're sitting there saying, well, wait a minute, Ted, how come no one else has told me about this? So you're a little suspicious, you're a little skeptical. Well, folks, the brokers know about this. The bankers know about this, but they're not going to tell you about it. Why aren't they going to tell you about it? Because they can't make a commission. You see, there's no commissions that are going to be made on tax lien certificates or tax defaulted properties. This is one that you got to learn yourself. The government made this for the little guy, for guys that want to take their time and learn about this. These auctions have been going on for 200 years. Every word that you've heard me say on any of my videos is 200 years old. I've only been doing it for 30 years, but you're getting the idea. So these properties aren't going to be advertised by other people. You're not going to see them on television, except for people that tell you you're going to get rich, and I'm going to tell you you're not going to get rich. You're going to not get rich by Friday. This is a process, and once you learn it, you can do it for the rest of your life. Everything here is 200 years old. So I'm Ted Thomason, but before I leave, I want to tell you about 2 big mistakes that I want you to do. So thanks for hanging in there. Mistake number 1, do not buy a property unless you've seen it with these 2 eyes. If you haven't seen it, absolutely do not buy it. Or if you paid someone to go look at it, you need to look at the property. What if it burned down? What if there was a windstorm? What if there was a hurricane? Stuff happens to property. Take my word for it. So don't buy anything that you haven't seen. Second big challenge that I want you to avoid, and the newcomers get in this trouble all the time, if you don't have an exit strategy, don't buy it. If you don't know what you can sell it for, don't buy it, because you might bid too high and not be able to sell it, and you're not going to give it back to that local county. All right, I want to invite you to be part of my community. If you're not part of the community, all you have to do is go below me and register, and I'm going to give you a fast start. Absolutely. It's my gift to you. It's a 1-hour-long mini course, and the first part of it is all about tax lien certificates, and the second part is all about tax deeds. It's absolutely free. It's my gift. Just go below me and register.